it's Jessica here. I am a corporate recruiter, have worked in the HR field for over 7 years, and I wanted to talk about something that has come up that I've noticed on resumes, and that is providing your referral information or references on your resume. So, what references are basically contacts that are in your network, whether it's from a previous job or maybe it's a personal reference from college or maybe it's a friend, neighbor, landlord, whatever. But these are people that you're essentially saying you can go to them, they will speak positively of you and actually refer you to whatever job that you are looking to be in. So with the references, though, a couple of things there. So anytime you are going to be sharing a reference, do it in the mind that the company will be reaching out to that reference, and make sure that that person actually knows that they're going to be a reference for you and that they also understand the job that you are applying to. So if you have like 3 references and you're just posting it on your resume, well, at any time, the employer could reach out to them. The thing with that is most won't, and you're kind of putting that person's information up front. You don't know where the resume is actually going to end up. Hopefully, it's just going to go into the applicant tracking portal, but there are some companies that don't really use portals. They change portals. They are not following procedure as far as shredding resumes effectively. So you're essentially sharing that information. You don't exactly know where that information will go. Now, I think it's great to have a references list and have those names available. Then once the time comes and you are further down the line in your search, having had an interview and the employer is actually asking you for references, well, then you can actually reach out to the folks that you have on your list and make sure they are aware that they will be contacted by someone, and give them a little information, about the job and maybe some things that they may be asked about. So if it's a sales job, just let them know, like, hey, I've applied to a sales job. You maybe reached out to, I listed you as a referral. So they're not caught off guard, for one. And then also so that they can actually answer and respond to the person. You get so many calls a day, you get so much junk mail. You do want to make sure that your reference actually responds, because that would not look good. And then also, when thinking about a reference, your reference may change. So depending on the job and what you find out about the job, well, maybe there is a better person to provide a reference for you, as opposed to your professor from 3 years ago that you haven't seen, in a while. So with references, another thing to consider is to try to keep them recent. People that you have actually held on to a relationship with. So if it's someone you worked with 3 or 4 years ago, I probably wouldn't recommend putting them down as a reference unless you stay in contact with the person. Also with like professors, for example, first off, make sure you were a great student in their class so they can speak positively of you. And also make sure that they can say that they've known you for for quite a while, and it's not like, oh, they were in my class 2 years ago. Make sure that it is a person that can speak very highly of you, talk to your skills, and also with providing references, something else to think about is just making sure that because this has happened to me in the past, making sure that they actually will speak highly of you and transparent about you. And I mean that they will be able to say many positive things about you. And even if they are providing some constructive areas where you might be able to focus, it's still in a good place and still comes to a positive light. So why I say that is because employers typically are looking for some kind of feedback of areas that a person can work on. And, you know, it looks better if you do have someone that can talk to that and can say like, oh, well, here's an area that Jessica could work on. But, she's just great at this and that and X, Y, and Z and whatever. So someone that can kind of sell you in a way, not someone that's going to just get on the phone and go, yeah, I worked with her, she's fine, she'd be great at it, and moving on. You definitely want someone that can really talk about you and that would like to talk about you and be positive. I've actually had a couple of references that I've called on behalf of a candidate that we're trying to extend an offer to. It hasn't happened often, but on occasion, the references either, one, act like they don't know that who I am and why I'm calling, or two, they are just not as familiar with the person, so they really can't talk about them. So it's like, okay, well, this is going to take like a 15-minute, it's going to be a 15-minute call, quick reference, and it turns into like maybe 2-3 minutes of me finding out, okay, so this person referred this person and they don't know much about them. So that's just some things to keep in mind. Again, you don't need to put references on your resume. I actually advise against it because you are upfront sharing another person's contact information, and an employer may use that information. So another thing I just thought about real quick is, sometimes you may be in the job process or recruiting process with the company for longer than you planned. Some companies are not as quick as others. I worked at a company where sometimes a position might drag out 3 or 4 months solely because of our interviewing process and the lack of availability from the hiring team. So the actual hiring managers that would need to be on the interview panel, their schedules may not align, and just other things may happen on different approvals. So you could be in the search for a while, and so if they have that referral information and maybe one of your people has changed their contact information, well, they're not going to be able to get in touch with them. So just some things to keep in mind again when thinking about referring people. Don't do it up front. Wait until you're asked, and then make sure that you're actually providing a list of the right people. All right. This is Jessica here, and I hope this is helpful for someone. I definitely wish that there was someone out there to tell me this information. So if it is helpful, give me a like, give me a comment. Bye.